This so this Naya deck was played in the Challenger Gauntlet, and it has obviously some similarities with the Gruul list that we played earlier. It's still running the adventure package. You've got everyone's favorite cards by this point. You've got your Edgewallian Keeper, you've got your Bone Crusher Giant, you've got your Lovestruck Beast, and you've got your Osika's Chariot for a big beater. Whereas the previous Gruul list splashed black to deal with Winota, this deck splashes white. And in return for your white investment, you get a few things. You get Giant Killer, which is another adventure card that plays well with the Dwelling Keeper, of course. You get Elite Spellbinder, which is effective against Sultai Ultimatum, which is still the scourge of the arena ladder, taking away your opponent's wrath effects before they can take away your board. You also get Showdown of the Skulls, which is a pretty good anti-control card as well. It's a draw 4 that comes down on turn 4 or 5, ideally, which is also around the time your opponent is planning a sweep of the board. So what you can do is your opponent is forced to tap out their counter magic or whatever to deal with your board, and then you slam Showdown, you rebuild, and then they're kind of in the same position that they were, except you also get chapters 2 and 3 of Showdown, which allow you to pump up those creatures as well, make them harder to deal with. So this deck gets a significant amount of resiliency. It is slower than the Gruul deck, but it has a lot more staying power. So I think that this deck is a lot more stable. It's definitely my style more than the Gruul list was, and I hope we're going to see the results. Let's give it a go. All right. Okay, so the mana is a little bit awkward here, but certainly we have to keep this, especially on the play. Opponent's not showing a companion, so for the first time in a while, it feels like I'm not playing against Sultai. Start off with the Lovestruck Beast. We do need to draw our white. Alright, so Sentinel. So Sentinel could be Gruul, could be the Mirror. Unlikely to be the Mirror with no companion. We're probably up against Gruul, which means we are the control deck here. We can stomp and get in an extra point of damage, but I think I would rather... There's nothing I really want to put back with the Fire Prophecy. If they play Magda, we're just going to stomp the Sentinel in response anyway, right? So let's just do this now, and we get in a point of damage this way. Normally I'd hold up the Bone Crusher Giant there. Okay. So it is Naya. But it's Naya with awkward mana. Like, it's hard to imagine what they could have for 2 mana in this spot here with that particular color. Let's get in. So they played this on white instead of green, so they're missing red. I'm down to just get the Lovestruck Beast in play and just make them find a way to block it. It's that or the Bone Crusher Giant here. Nothing else really makes a whole lot of sense. And do we want to play this on red, or do we want to play it on green? I think we play it on red for our future Showdown of the Scald's turn. It's more likely that we'll want to play 2 red spells in 1 turn than 2 green at this point. Lotus Cobra. Okay, so that's kind of their red source. Well, that's really their red source. Okay, but there's no Bone Crusher here. At least they decided not to stomp my 1/1. So we can Fire Prophecy the Cobra. We did not draw our land. I think the play is going to be Sentinel plus Hold Up Fire Prophecy. In fact, probably not Hold Up Fire Prophecy. Probably use the Fire Prophecy on the Cobra to try to draw our land. Yeah. So we'll do this. We'll put back one of these Giant Killers. Get in. Get the Sentinel down. Put the Mountain in play. And here we go. so they found Chariot. If we draw our white, then we can kill that thing. If they power it up. We still can't find our white. That's... Well, we kind of have our white in the form of the Sentinel plus the 1/1. Okay, let's attack with the Lovestruck Beast and see what they do. If they block, then it means that they're not planning on powering up with the Chariot, most likely. So... I don't think there's any realistic chance that we want to kill the Chariot on their turn, right? If they power it up and attack... Like, we're the beatdown. I think we want to be aggressive. I'm going to power up. I'm going to play my own Chariot. And try to just get him dead next turn. Or at least force him to block with enough creatures that we stay ahead on board. We could play the Giant Killer on the creature side now. I think I do want to be able to kill, like, a Lovestruck Beast that they play here. Ah. I didn't think it was Winota. I thought this was the mirror. I suppose the Lotus Cobra should have tipped me off. Nevertheless, they probably need to attack out here, so as long as we don't die, I think we win. Even if they hit Kenrith, they can't give everything trample here. They don't have the mana. So I think we got lucky, or at least I got lucky. Yeah, this... Alright, so how much is this? This is 4, 8, 11, 14, 19. So strictly speaking, we don't even need to block with anything, but I guess we might as well. Yeah, so this is 5, 8, 10, 12, 16. There's the white at long last. And we can make this a 4/4. And... crew like this. We'll be attacking for 4, 6, 11, 15, and they can block 5 of that, so they're dead. Oh no, actually they're not. I did the fucking math wrong. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I mathed wrong. We're down to 1. They're down to 1. We're dead. Ah! Great start. Great start. Okay. So... we have Containment Priest. That's kind of cool. Is that actually good here? Yeah, it's kind of another Winota answer that's kind of cute. No one will reasonably play around it. Got 4 red cat melees, which are pretty good. And we've got our Burning Hands, of course. So the sideboard guide I have tells me to take out the 3 Spellbinders, which I guess is fine. Take out the Chariot, which is fine. And 2 of the Sentinels. Which I guess is also okay, right? Like, we board in a lot of removal, so... Sentinel kind of, like, speeds us toward the late game by virtually skipping turns, but the removal actually, like, deals with them on a turn-to-turn basis. So both of those are pretty good at getting to the late game. I think that's reasonable. And the Florahedron. One of those. Sure. Is there anything I would want to bring in? I don't think so. I think this is fine. Alright. So we don't have our green available on 1. But I think we keep this. We'll go fetch our green. Alright. So is it better to play the Innkeeper here, or is it better to hold up Bone Crusher Giant? I think it's better to hold up Bone Crusher Giant. It's just the more mana efficient thing to do. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to stomp something against Winota. And most things that they could play on turn 2 are stompable. Like that. Our Prophecy, unfortunately not good enough to hit Winota herself. But at least we can try to use it to keep the board clear. Maybe draw our next land, should we need it. I'm going to play the Innkeeper here. I do want the card off the Bone Crusher Giant. They're not putting us under that much pressure yet. And play with the Plains. Spellbinder, huh? Okay. So that will resolve. Now, what do we do about it? I think that gets Burning Hands. Fire Prophecy will hit, like, their 3 toughness creatures like Minsk. The Burning Hands is good if they get, like, a Chariot in play, but I'm hoping to draw my way into more answers, of course. Right, so here we can get our Innkeeper in play. Play with the Bone Crusher Giant. Draw our cards. And another Fire Prophecy, and a Showdown, so that's pretty good. There is some tension between the Showdown and holding up our removal. So we'll have to make our decision. If they can build a board here... Ooh. The third Innkeeper. So they can't build a board here, which means that it's not urgent, like super urgent, that we kill anything. So let's go ahead and attack out. There's no stick on their side. It feels like they probably have Winota. But maybe we can find some way to use the combination of these 2 Fire Prophecies next turn. It won't be a very inspiring turn, but... if they do find Winota, then we will need to kill it. Oh, they have nothing at all. Okay. Alright, so... what do we do here? We have 6 mana available. It's just Stomp and Chariot, right? Nothing else makes any sense. Sure. This one's feeling pretty good. It's always nice when the opponent misses their land drops. Found their white. Got their own Chariot, okay. But this feels like too little, too late. So we have Fire Prophecy plus Burning Hands. If they do have Winota, then they play it, they crew the Chariot, they get in, they have 1 trigger. But we can get them super low here, which I think I am inclined to do. Do you want to play anything else? So we have 6, 7 mana. 2, 4, and then play the Bone Crusher Giant? Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, so now the way we do the way we sequence this is important because now they play the Asika's Chariot, but the Burning Hands will kill it. Hey, Webby. How are you? It's good to see you. Yeah, I'm not even sure we're chipping away at their health at this point. I think we're just kind of absolutely winning. I'm gonna put... Oh, it doesn't matter where we put the counter, because we're gonna play the Bone Crusher Giant, use it to crew the Chariot. This is 9. Yeah, they're just dead. Super dead. Okay. So redeemed myself for the lethal miscalculation earlier. Yeah, that felt pretty good. I think we keep it like this. So no red, but we can find it with the Table Passage on 1. Giant Killer is a decent answer for Winota. Burning Hands is a good answer for, you know, their medium creatures. We're going to need to find some help here. But I think this is too good to pass up. We're softest to a Chariot. But that's probably always true. Like, Chariot is probably just universally their best card against us. There's Sentinel. Okay. They play that on white instead of red. I mean, that's a lot of mana. Opponent did mulligan, so... If they also have something to play here, that's a pretty good 6. Okay. Selfless Savior is a significant issue. Like, they could just have Winota next turn, and there's just absolutely nothing we can do about it. Turn 3 Winota on the play with Selfless Savior? I mean, if they have that, then we just lose. Realistically. Yeah, okay. So I think here... We also only have the one red source, so we're very incentivized to kill the Savior on their end step. I think that's gotta be it. I think we have to force the Savior to die so that we're able to answer a Winota if they don't have it now. If they do have it now, then, you know, we lose. Spellbinder's tilting, but not the end of the world. I think here I am inclined to Burning Hands the Savior. If they had Chariot, they would have played that. If they had Winota, they would have played that. Let's just get the Savior off the board. Winota's too much of a cutie to hate. Winota is terrible to me. Like, I've had some terrible luck both with and against Winota on this stream. I mean, this is the power of being on the play. Also, oh, I mean, that's a pretty good draw. So what do we do here? It's probably just Innkeeper, hold up, melee. As much as that sucks. And then the following turn, we can play the creature side of the Giant Killer. Hold up Ripcat melee again. Alright. I'm gonna take 3 here, at least. Is our Innkeeper gonna get removed? Oh, wow. Okay. We don't have a good way to kill that right now. We still do not have a good way to kill that right now. Like, realistically, we're going to need to use the adventure side of this giant killer to get through this Kenrith, and I'm just not sure that that's going to be good enough if we wait a turn. Like, they're going to attack us for 5, 8, 9, 10. Trample next turn. To say nothing of if they draw Winota. This is terrible. I think we have to showdown here. Yeah. Hated Winota till you Winota. Millers till I milled. And refuse to cycle. I get it. I get it. I actually don't have a problem with Winota in particular. Like, I don't have a problem with really any deck in Magic. I don't mind. That's frustrating too. It's just my luck with Winota has been particularly bad, for and against. Alright, so what are we dealing with here? 1, 4, 9, 12, 13, 14 trample, and we can block 1? Uh-huh. I think we take it. They didn't attack with this Innkeeper. That's kind of bizarre. Okay, so what's the best sequence here? We have 5 mana. We can cast exactly Giant Killer on the Kenrith and then die. We can cast the Seeker's Chariot and the 1/1 and then die in the air to the Spellbinder. We can cast the Seeker's Chariot, hold up Red Cat melee for the Spellbinder, and die. Don't see any outs, unfortunately. Yeah, this is as wide as we can go. This holds up our only removal spell. And we're just dead. Yeah, I mean, opponent's draw was rock solid. I think we needed a couple more turns to really stabilize there. Or we needed the Giant Killer to not be taken by the Elite Spellbinder. Like, if we had been able to just kill Kenrith in response to them sacking their treasure, then I think we would have been just fine. But it's hard to be too upset about losing that one, just because it was my punt in game 1. Game 2, I'm not sure there was any way to lose. Game 3, I don't think at all there was any way to win. So, 0-1. Mikey Collado. Alright. I hate all decks at one stage or another. Yeah, I mean, I like formats where creatures are good. Like, where an actual battlefield presence matters. And it feels like we haven't had a lot of that in Magic over the last few years. So, seeing Winota... even if Winota is fundamentally doing broken things on the same level as the existing Throne of Eldraine cards, which kind of sucks in its own way, at least creatures matter, attacks, blocks matter. And control is given a real run for its money. So opponent chose Yorion. I think this is a pretty decent anti-Yorion hand. This is definitely a decent anti-Yorion on a multi 5 hand. We like that. So, I mean, I'm assuming that this is Sultai Ultimatum, of course, but, like, if this is, Esper Doom, which I saw Mengu play a little while ago, then we could be in some trouble. Happy with Standard at the moment. Yeah, I feel like it's just so sad that Standard only got to like this good point after all the major tournaments were over. It feels like a waste. Does it matter which one of these lands we play on? Green. I don't think so now that we've drawn this. Opponent leads off on green land untapped, says go. I think I'm down to... I don't want to play the Innkeeper. I feel like it's fairly likely that the Innkeeper will get brutalized. So instead, I think I'm just going to play out this Sentinel and hold up the Bone Crusher Giant to Stomp Face. So we'll Stomp Face, and then we'll be able to play Innkeeper plus cast the creature side of Bone Crusher Giant next turn. Main phase Omen of the Sea, really? Okay. Opponent mull to 5. Main phase Omen of the Sea means they're missing land. Most likely. Or at the very least, they don't have removal. So that's our signal to just go, 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 go. Oh. Mountain. What are we up against? Some 4-color nonsense. Some 4-color nonsense that has no black source at the moment. So, I mean, if they play, like, Swamp Extinction Event, then of course we're very sad. But I think against an opponent that mulled to 5, we just go. Especially when they only topped 1 with the Omen, and that top was probably their land drop. And we'll get the Lair of a Hydra is a nice draw. We'll get that in play next turn as sort of like a follow-up play to smashing their face. They get Swamp. So it does feel like at this point we're likely to get swept next turn. Ooh, maybe we're not. Okay. So how do we do this in terms of sequencing? We're not getting ultimatums next turn. We're certainly not getting ultimatums with the Mountain in play. I don't know what's going on here. If we play the Spellbinder and they have, like, double Extinction Event or, like, double Shadow's Verdict, we are extraordinarily sad. But if they only have 1, then I think playing the Spellbinder here kind of just wins the game. And against an opponent on a mull to 5, again, I think it's unlikely... I don't think we can assume they have the perfect hand. Let's just go. They do have the 2 sweepers. Ah, that's frustrating. Damn it. Okay. Well, what to do? Which one do we take? I guess we take the more expensive one. Because they're not going to be able to do anything with their extra mana next turn anyway. So I want them to spend their mana this turn and then have to spend 7 on their future one. Do we attack or do we just buy Gigantha? Buying Gigantha means that we lose 3 points of damage. Or we lose several points of damage. It says good game. That seems a little premature. Not willing to say good game yet. I also want to see what this deck's endgame actually is. Solve the Equation was an interesting one. What are they fetching? There's no ultimatum that works with this mana, obviously. They fetch Cultivate. Okay. Okay. So we can make a 4/4 lair and attack, or we can get a Giganta and play an attack with a 5/5 lair next turn. They're gonna get their Gargaroth down, probably. Actually, they can't get the Gargaroth down if they don't, if they have to cast Cultivate next turn. I think Giganta is the way we win this. We just have to hope that they whiff on the ability to cast the Gargaroth, or the Shadow's Verdict. Actually, the Shadow's Verdict doesn't matter either, because the Shadow's Verdict doesn't hit Giganta. Which was, I guess, another reason to take the, which was another reason to take the Extinction event, or to take the Shadow's Verdict instead of the Extinction event earlier. Do we do it? Do we say good game? This is how much? 5/5, right? Yeah, we do it. That's what you get for saying good game. That feels great. Now, what the hell were we up against? That's the $1,000,000 question. What is the opponent doing? This is like... It's not like Grixis-y stuff. It's more like Sultai splash red for something. And we didn't see any red. Nothing wrong with a gracious GG? Oh, there was nothing gracious about my GG. Like, let's be clear. That was an in-your-face, you don't premature GG me. Unless you mean their GG was gracious, but... Eh, I doubt it. I don't know what we're up against. But I'm going to assume that it's just, like, normal Sultai-y stuff. Tyrannus Magistrate... Well, I mean... I feel like there's no way they're using Ultimatum, which is what Tyrannus Magistrate is for, so I don't think I'm going to bring that in unless I see evidence to the contrary. I do want Redain. I do want the extra Spellbinder. And they showed us Gargaroth, so we do want the Burning Hands. And what don't we like? I feel like 4 Giant Killers is enough to deal with the Gargaroth if they do somehow resolve it. So I think the Crone War is what comes out. You could have Yorion. Fire Prophecy, I don't think we saw hit anything at all there, right? So I think we'll take out all 4 of those. And I guess an Ox? Did they show us any Wilt targets? They showed us Omen of the Sea, which I guess makes some sense. They're a Yorion deck. It's never that bad. I think I want Ox. Oh, I can't keep Giganta in if I bring in the Ox, but that's fine. Alright, Mikey. Yeah, okay. Need to draw a land, but I think if we draw 1 land, we're pretty happy. Ideally, it's white. Okay, we did it. So now the question is, do we play up the Innkeeper to die, or not? I think we... Okay, well, we lead on the Lovestruck Beast here, right? We can make the decision about the Innkeeper another day. Like, if we played the Innkeeper out and they don't have any removal, then I think the Innkeeper makes sense because then we can play out our adventure creatures a little sooner, get our value sooner. But playing the Zagotrium tapped, game 2, they're probably going to be chock full of ways to kill creatures. Oh, hey, Clicks. Good to see you. How are you doing? We're playing, as we always do, Yorion decks on the ladder. It's just all we ever run into. Opponent's considering killing our 1/1. I think we're pretty happy if they do. Well, it says go with the most obvious Heartless act of all time. So I'm not inclined to play the Innkeeper into a Heartless act. I'm just going to hold up the Bone Crusher Giant here. If they kill this 1/1 during combat, then I'm even less likely to play the Innkeeper, I think, because it's very likely they have multiple removal spells at that point. And I think, given the choice between casting the Lovestruck Beast or the Bone Crusher Giant on 3, I will probably choose neither and play Verdane. I think that's more likely. Ooh, Field of Ruin. What are we up against here? Interesting. So they've shown us they have a kill spell. I don't want to play the Lovestruck Beast when they can kill the 1/1. They have a 2-mana kill spell, which means they can kill Verdane if she really does cramp their style, although it does turn off the Wrath effects. So does the Spellbinder. Realistically, is it supposed to be the Spellbinder here, and then next turn we play Innkeeper plus whichever of these is appropriate? I think that's right. Let's do that. Oh boy. Okay. So it's Wrath Central over here. Yeah, so they have their 2-mana removal, they have 2 Wrath effects, they have Yorion, and they have Professor Onyx. They do not currently have the mana to cast Shadow's Verdict, but they will find the second black with their Field of Ruin. This is tough. I think, again, I'm going to take Shadow's Verdict. And if they want to use their Wrath, then they're going to have to use it early. Also, Extinction Event does force them to leave behind the token, I suppose. We'd also love to play Verdane. Verdane dies to the Power Word kill. She does, right? Oh, is Verdane an angel? No, Verdane's a god. That was a pretty good draw. Second Innkeeper, right? So if we play Verdane here, they will Power Word kill her? No, they will play Island Yorion, flicker that binding, and kill our stuff. Yeah, this is going to be tough. If it weren't for this Power Word kill, I think we'd be in okay shape, because we can force them to use the Wrath, and then rebuild the following turn. But the fact that we can only really deploy one threat at a time. I don't want to play the Showdown on 4 when it looks like this game is going to go long. Okay. Let's play out, I guess, the Lovestruck Beast. They play Yorion, they flicker the binding, kill the Lovestruck Beast, right? But I guess because they want to play Yorion next turn, it means that they don't want to play their Wrath effect. So actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of these Innkeepers, and I'm going to play one of these Lovestruck Beasts. Let's see what they do. Because if they Wrath the board here, that means they have to let the binding go. Which makes their Yorion significantly worse. It's just a 4/5 then. And if they do play their Yorion, then we can play, like, then their Extinction Event on Odd gets worse, right? So let's see what they kill here. Did they kill the Innkeeper, or did they kill the Lovestruck Beast? Okay, they killed the Lovestruck Beast. Okay. So, we can play Showdown here. But they're not really forced to Wrath the board here. If they got removal for the artifact side of Redain. I mean, the Binding, of course. Like, Binding the Old Gods will deal with it. But I don't really think that taxing them for targeting our creatures is the way to go, especially when they have just Wrath effects to deal with our board. I think this Innkeeper's not long for this world. I'm not really sure what to do here. Like, the Chariot's just bad against the power word kill as well. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play out the Bone Crusher Giant. Another Innkeeper. So they're gonna Shadow's Verdict board is the problem, right? Alright, we'll just say go. I want to hold on to these Innkeepers. So they play Island, and I'm guessing Shadow's Verdict? Oh boy. That's a pretty good draw. So we're down to 10 here at least. And the Orient's quickly becoming a problem. They just play Professor Onyx. Okay. Probably to kill the Bone Crusher Giant. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I just don't think there's a way through. They've been to Vorinclex, so whatever card they got off Professor Onyx there was good. Wow, they just go face, eh? No fear at all. And I guess, why should they fear? Because they have lethal next turn with any instant off of Professor Onyx. So, I think we're hosed? I mean, Jaspera Sentinel is, like, fine. Because it blocks the Orient, and we're not quite dead. No, we are dead to the Shadow's Verdict. Yeah, I don't see a way out. Yeah. Yeah, we're just dead here. Unfortunately. Or, yeah, we're dead to Extinction Event. We're not dead to Shadow's Verdict, because that will kill their own birds. We're also dead to any single target removal. Probably a lot of different ways for the opponent to deal with us here. Okay. So they have Epiphany? Okay. I mean, we're still dead, right? Like, we just don't have a... We don't have a way to deal with their board. Suppose we could draw Giant Killer. Wow, what did they bin? They binned another Shadow's Verdict and Kiora Best the Sea God. they scryed at the top. Okay. So I think this is going to be a Chariot plus Verdane and Hope turn. And if they Extinction Event Verdane, then that gets their Yorion too. So... But again, we're dead to, like, Doomblade here. Okay. I mean, actually, we're also dead to just any other spell as well. Oh, yeah, we're dead to that as well. Yeah, I don't think there was any way out of that one. I think that the opponent's hand in the early game was just way too good for us to effectively deal with. Like, we couldn't be super aggressive and play into their Wrath because they had two of them. Like, there was no... We had to put enough pressure on them to force them to Wrath, but we also couldn't hold, like, realistically hold enough back either because they would have had the second Wrath to clean up the board the second time. So their hand was nice. And then they drew pretty well from there, not to mention. Okay, so... It looks like this is just, like, raw Sultai control. I don't know what the mountain is for. It might be for, like, burning hands or something. But it's obviously not ultimatum either. Clicks! 10 gifted subs. That's more people than there are in the stream right now. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. That takes some of the sting out of the loss there. That's awesome. I think we just keep the boarding the way it is. Well, it never... Yeah. Hopefully. Working on it. That's just gonna keep going for a while in my ears, isn't it? Alright. Keep this. Not loving it. I do want to play the Sentinel on one. Let's see. This deck is weird, but, like, it's still powerful enough. We need our anti-control elements, and luckily we do have two of them here in the Spellbinder plus Showdown here. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get the... We can cast the Tangled Florahedron, I suppose. Which is, like, by far the most aggressive thing we can be doing. Okay. I think I like it. And hopefully the Spellbinder looks in their hand and they don't have two Wraths for the first time. One time, please don't have two Wraths when I Spellbind you. And then we have Showdown of the Skulls to reload. If you're gonna kill anything, it should probably be the Florahedron, yes. Okay, so taking the Florahedron there probably means there's no Wrath immediately forthcoming. Is there any reason to Spellbind this turn? Kind of, because it means we get to play the Showdown later, but I think I actually like getting the Lovestruck Beast in play. Nah, we'll Spellbind. Binding, Valky, Lucranos. And no land. There's no real sense taking the omens here. I think I just take the Pelupronos. And just hope that this hand is too slow. I'm gonna get the Lovestruck Beast in play next turn, I think. Or am I? Let's see. Well, I think it'll depend a little bit on what they do with these omens here. Bottom's nice. Okay, Scryland. Top. So, at minimum, that means we're getting Binding next turn. And at worst, it means we're getting Wrath. I think that means we're supposed to play the Showdown here. Gonna play this on red, I think. Because I think our board is threatening enough. Ooh, hitting the extra Spellbinder is really nice, too. Alright, I'm gonna play the Lovestruck Beast 1/1 here. And just attack them for 3 instead of attacking them for 5. And go wide. And this way, if they play, like, Binding the Old Gods here on... What do you play it on? Like, do you kill the Showdown, or do you kill the Spellbinder? Oh, you don't. You cast Cultivate here. So you cast Cultivate, you chose not to hit your land drop, but you did still scry at the top. So what does that represent? To me, that represents a board wipe. However, there's only 2 down cards here. They can only have 2 at most, but probably more likely 1. And the Spellbinder's face up. So... yeah. Oh, you didn't... Mikey! You're supposed to wish me good game. What happened? Okay. Alright, 1-1. 1-1 with Naya. For some reason, Mikey didn't feel like saying good game at the end there. He did all day. Games 1 and 2, we were good game central with Mikey, but not game 3. I don't know why. Should do 4. Hopefully a better mannered opponent this time. We go first, we like that. And I think here... I think I do want to play the Innkeeper on 1 on the play. Because we can play the Giant Killer the following turn and get our immediate value. It's unlikely to hit anything super good. And against the decks where it does hit something super good, they're unlikely to kill our Innkeeper on 1. Like, if it's Winota, they're probably not going to remove our Innkeeper. They're probably just going to ramp into Winota. Den of the Bugbear. Okay. So, Den of the Bugbear definitely represents something that could kill our Innkeeper on 1. Giant Killer itself is also a pretty good answer to Winota on the board. I think I'm fine just playing the White Source, drawing the card. Making sure we get our value. Drawing the Fire Prophecy means we don't necessarily need to stomp with Bone Crusher either. We can just get it on the board and be the beatdown. Snow-covered Forest plus Den. So it's probably just, like, Gruul here, which makes me inclined to hold the Bone Crusher Giant. Bone Crusher Giant kills the Giant Killer, not the Innkeeper, which is kind of stunning. So are we supposed to play the Stomp here, or are we supposed to play the Creature side of Bone Crusher? Their most likely play next turn is Bone Crusher itself. Why was the Giant Killer so threatening to them? Because they have Linoda in hand? There's nothing we can do about that. Fire Prophecy will at least kill the Bone Crusher Giant to clear it away. I'm just gonna play the creature side. Another Fire Prophecy is probably pretty good against whatever's playing Bugbear, Forest, Bone Crusher. Double Fire Prophecy, all the better, of course. Interesting. So I really want to play the Chariot here. What's the punish on turn 4 for playing the Chariot? They have no white, so it probably is just Gruul. Let's attack with the Bone Crusher Giant, see if they're willing to trade. They are. Okay, well then I'm definitely playing Chariot. Because they feel like they're under significant pressure. And we have a white and a green in hand. We don't need much white. We already have double green, so I guess that means we're going to get red. Which does let us cast double Fire Prophecy if we want. And let's see what they have. Okay. They're not killing this Innkeeper. Ranger class. Okay. Oh, that's good stuff. So we'll play this on green. Actually, do we even play the Heart's Desire, or do we play Fire Prophecy plus the 5/5 here? I think it's Fire Prophecy plus the 5/5. And then we have the Showdown to pump it up later. That seems outstanding. If the Innkeeper dies, then the Lovestruck Beast can't attack, of course. But at minimum, it can always be used to crew the Chariot. So let's see what we draw. Ooh, Giant Killer seems great, too. Are we putting anything back? Realistically, I don't think so. I'm going to decline. We will crew the Chariot. Get in with the Cadillac. What you gonna do about it, opponent? I feel like there's probably a scoop coming. I mean, so, like, the best card they could realistically have in this spot is Goldspan Dragon, right? And they're just dead on board. Like, they have to play sad Goldspan Dragon to... I guess they could have Chariot. Actually, Chariot is probably the best card they could have in this spot. If they do have Chariot... they do have it. Okay. So... we can at least force them to block, right? Yeah, let's Fire Prophecy one of these 2/2s. And force them to make the decision about whether to crew the Chariot or not. If they do, they're going to be sad. Great. Okay, so now we get to kill the Chariot with the Giant Killer. Sure. That's pretty good, too. And this is 5/9. They're not quite dead. But this is a tall order. They need to have a hell of a turn here to stay alive. Cinderplasm? I guess Cinderplasm does it. I cannot fathom what they might have here. They could... We attack with everything. They have Red Cat melee. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Play out the Spellbinder. And play out the Innkeeper and use those two to crew the Chariot. Ooh. Alright. And I think that's pretty clean. Misplay on their part? What was the misplay? Powering up the Chariot, you mean? Maybe. Like, at that point, they're so far behind that maybe they just have to do that to try to eat one of our creatures, but our attack is so face up. Like, we clearly have a way to deal with it, so you're probably right that they probably dropped the Bone Crusher before the Innkeeper. Did they? Yeah, I guess. That's true. Alright. So, Gruul. What does Martin use a Tell Me to do against Gruul? Magistrate seems pretty reasonable. Red Cat melee, of course, but only one. Only one is interesting. 2 Burning Hands, okay. And a Wilt, which I suppose is there to deal with a resolved Great Henge. Out come the Spellbinders, which makes sense. They die pretty easily. And out come 2 Sentinels. It does feel weird, I gotta say, not bringing in the extra Red Cat melees, but I guess so many of their threats aren't actually red. Okay. We also do have the giant, like the 4 copies of Giant Killer. Yeah, this seems okay. I don't know when we're gonna get this Tangled Florahedron played. Probably turn 1, honestly. And then, because it's not, like, super urgent that we get the Lovestruck Beast down, right? Or the 1/1 from the Lovestruck Beast down. Tangle Florahedron on tapped on 1 and Kill Spell on 2 is probably just as good. We'll see. Spare a Sentinel. Okay. Okay, well now that we've drawn that, I think I am gonna play the Lovestruck Beast token on 1. Because I think now I'm gonna be able to play this Tangled Florahedron at a more opportune time in the game. Maybe this is still wrong. Like, maybe they could play a creature here and Bone Crush the 1/1, whereas that wouldn't have been good before. One says go, without attacking with the Sentinel, so what does that mean? I still feel like it's Bone Crusher Giant, but they're trying to squeeze some value out of it. The Plains means I'm happy to get this down on red. And I don't think I'm going to play the Tangled Florahedron out into the Bone Crusher Giant. It's just a more appealing target. We could kill the Jaspera Sentinel now. Try to stunt their mana a little bit. And then if they do stomp the 1/1, then eventually we'll be able to steal their Lovestruck Beast or their Bone Crusher Giant. I think I like it. They do have the Lovestruck Beast in play. I'm going to play the Fire Prophecy here. They'll probably stomp my 1/1 in response. Maybe even my face. Okay. I think I'm just happy to put back the Florahedron in that case. Another removal smells pretty good. We are not interested in trading. They are the beatdown, not us. Okay, we have Burning Hands for that. And another Fire Prophecy. And another Fire Prophecy. So we can play our own Lovestruck Beast. They do have the possibility to Embercleave next turn, so I don't love that. Yeah, we're just holding up Burning Hands for the Lovestruck Beast, right? They could have, Great Henge, which would be a reason to kill the Lovestruck Beast now. And against us, I feel like they should have Great Henge. So let's do this. Let's just kill this thing main phase. With the intention of, if they play another big boy next turn, steal it with the Akroan War and keep them off the Great Henge again. Ooh, trade? I think we like trades, right? I don't think we're planning on attacking with our Lovestruck Beast anytime soon. So they're telling us that... Wow. And nothing? No plays? Okay. Well, that feels outstanding. I'm gonna play this on red so that we have the ability to cast double Fire Prophecy in the future. And I think I'm just gonna play the creature side of Giant Killer. Like, this obviously sucks if we draw Innkeeper exactly off the top. But we're up against Gruul. These two cards will be a nightmare for them to get through. Oh, that's gonna be upsetting for them. We just take this, right? There's no world where we don't take this. They showed us they didn't have any cheap creatures. They probably have another Goldspan Dragon. But we have our own Goldspan Dragon. We don't have a treasure. So we won't be able to tap down their second Goldspan. They're gonna Red Cat melee their own Goldspan. Okay. And let's play this on red. No real reason not to attack. And they probably have a second Goldspan, I'm guessing, just based on the way this game is played out. Nothing. Okay. I mean... I guess we're just, like, buying Giganta here? They could have a Goldspan Dragon in hand that they're not playing because they know it'll die to the third chapter of the Akroan War. But if that's true, then they won't play it next turn anyway, because I can tap it on my main phase with the Giant Killer to kill it. So I think we just buy the Giganta here and say go. Innkeeper. Alright. Chariot. Alright, we're gonna kill this Innkeeper. We're gonna put Giganta back, I think. We do need to find, like, Showdown of the Scald or something. That's pretty good, too, realistically. Huh. I'm just gonna play the Innkeeper. And I'm going to play the creature side of this Giant Killer. Ooh. Okay, that's interesting. Now what? Well, actually, I guess we've burned all our white, so there's no sense holding up the Giant Killer anymore. But let's go to combat. Let's see what they do. Okay. And now we have some great draws, right? Like, any adventure creature is an excellent draw. Showdown of the Skulls is an excellent draw. We're not in immediate danger of getting Embercleaved. That's probably the best they could do, but our Giant Killers will shut that down. Interesting. Powering up the Chariot. So, what concerns me is that they might have a removal spell. So if I double block the Chariot, it's a blowout. So maybe what I'm supposed to do here is power up the Chariot to block. And keep my 2/2s. Or I'm just supposed to take it. I think what I like most is just blocking the Chariot with one Giant Killer. I think it's reasonably likely this last card is a removal spell. Sentinel. Okay. I will power up the Chariot here, though. Burning Hands. So they're letting us attack, which means I think it's unlikely that they have exactly Burning Hands. Do we attack with the 5/5? I think I like it, given that we have the Fire Prophecy available. Opponent's freaking out. Yeah, so Burning Hands makes sense. And now we get the Sentinel in play, we get to hold up Fire Prophecy and the Giant Killer to tap down the Goldspan Dragon. Yeah, this feels great. Now, of course, they could like rip another Goldspan or something, and we're pretty soft at that. Power up Den of the Bugbear. Okay. Leaving 2 mana up suspiciously. Let's tap down the dragon. And let's see what they do. Okay, so they're attacking for 8, which would make the Goldspan Dragon lethal next turn. But we can cheaply block this. think what I like is blocking the chariot like this and blocking like this. Let the damage go through. Now see what they do. Thundering Rebuke my cat. Okay. Another Sentinel is not exactly what we were digging for here. So we can power up the chariot using the Sentinel, Innkeeper, and the 2/2. Can attack, make another 2/2, hold up the Giant Killer. Still have a chump blocker for the dragon if it really comes down to it. I think I like that. Nope, no. No crew. We do have to get them dead because they're top, like, the threat of them top decking a dragon is real. So this is an attack for 6, which does make the dragon lethal if we're not careful. But they are... Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's exact lethal if we can crew the chariot without tapping anything. And we get to do this and hold up the Giant Killer. Yeah, this is just lethal. Nice. Nice. Alright. 2-1 with Naya Adventures. And the first match was really my own fun. So, that feels really sweet. I felt like we had serious game against the, even the Sultai list, except for their nutty draw that had the double sweeper plus removal spell. We weren't really equipped to deal with that. But overall, this deck feels pretty good.